The vision for IIDA with Design Your World is built around a couple of things. It's built around helping young folks understand what design is and understand that it is a viable career.
I think for kids, so often they're told what to do. They're put in places that they don't have any control over. There's little things in design that I think they can have control over, and I think it's almost an aha moment for kids when they get to understand that they can change the environment that they're in and they can change those spaces.
We want Design Your World to change the lives of every single person that participates in the program. And that's whether you participate as an instructor or whether you participate as a student. That's the most powerful aspect of design. And so a program like Design Your World is not only going to benefit the kids that are participating, it's going to benefit this industry by changing the entire perspective on what we think design is and how design is practiced.
There's so much great stuff in the world of art and design, and there's so many kids that would value it, and there's so many kids that could benefit from it. We just have to do a better job of finding space in our life to share back and give back.
We're here to inspire these kids, and I want to be able to show these kids that there's a path forward and that there's belonging for them in design. To open their eyes up and at minimum, just help to show them that spaces and environments can be changed through their own actions and that they have the power and control over that. But just to be able to show them that they belong and there's space for them, I think that's so important.
This really exposes not only our teens, but their organization to diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? And so bringing in, a different cohort of teens to explore and to, start thinking about different career paths. And so I think that that's another wonderful thing about After School Matters and how it connects teens and partners together.
The instructors are experts in the field. So IIDA is the perfect partner when they are experts in their field to come and teach our teens and give them those basics of interior design.
My role with Design Your World, I was the very first instructor. So with that came creating a curriculum with my lovely team and being one-on-one with the students. So yeah, that was my role. First, I would ask them what they think the interior design is. They were just like, you pick out colors. Yes, we pick out colors, but there's a little bit more. You think about building codes. You think about the flow of the space. You also think about the experience, the environment, what draws you to it. So we had that kind of conversation. Someone pretty much designed every single thing that you're touching for a reason. Talking about collaboration and networking, even in the first week, I wanted to let them know that we had to just being able to collaborate and communicate your ideas and listen to someone beside you and just kind of have that kind of back and forth. It was very important. And we also talked about how interior designers collaborate with all different types of fields, so architecture, construction. You have to have that kind of collaboration with general contractors, just kind of building that network of people. I did ask them up front what they wanted to learn, so I kind of also based my curriculum around that, even though I had it, but I kind of tweaked it to make sure I touched on the topics they really wanted to focus on. They wanted to know the history of design, how to start a sketch, how do you add your own personal style to things, and the elements of design and the principles. So we'll talk about space and form and color and how those things kind of influence you in certain design choices that you make. They wanted to know career path, colleges, how to choose a college. So we had we talked about schools and scholarships. That if you come curious, I want you to leave curious, but I want you to also question the decision that was made. What made them choose this color? Why do I like it? Why do people come here versus going to another place that they can go to? So during the 5th week of the course, we went on an architectural walking tour of downtown Chicago. During that tour, we met at the IIDA headquarters. We walked downtown. The tour guide gave us like the history of Chicago, which was cool. I learned some things about the Chicago fire that I didn't know. The first skyscraper was here, so the students were asking questions about that. We looked at some of the architecture, and we kind of tied it into how architecture influences interior design style, so the students asked about that, which was cool. We would walk around and be in that like 1920s buildings where like really big, the skyscrapers are still here. I would ask the students, what design style is this? And then kind of tie those together and pull like furniture pieces designed during that time period and have them sketch it. And we would talk about that and just have that kind of conversation of how iconic design can really be. So you could come up with something on your own now, and 20, 50 years later, it's still a thing. So just kind of showing them like what successful design could be, what unsuccessful design could be seen as. So I really feel like I probably gave them too much, but you know, why not? They're students, they're high school, they're young, they can remember. So towards the end, I asked each student what they would take away from the course. A lot of students surprised me that they didn't know like the hand lettering that architects used. A lot of them were taking away like the different design styles, the different color schemes, the fact that color schemes are a thing. But I wanted to make sure that they understood you don't necessarily have to go to school for interior design. There are a lot of design fields that you can definitely go under, but I wanted to express like you could do this if you have a keen eye for doing something more techie. Maybe try architecture. More design based, you might like this, but you want to do that, maybe illustration. Just try to show them all these things kind of take a part of the design field. So I really think just kind of exposing them to the arts was also important, but just letting them know there are a lot of different routes you can go with the design background.
So a program like Design Your World is not only going to benefit the kids that are participating, it's going to benefit this industry by changing the entire perspective on what we think design is and how design is practiced. There will be generations of new designers who will bring their very special way of thinking and a perspective that has not always been seen in this profession. They'll be bringing it to the table, and it won't be new anymore. It won't be different. They won't be alone. They won't be solitary, but they'll stand in solidarity with their peers in continuing to advance the profession of design.